Hi, I'm Carolyn Brown and welcome to Yoga for Athletes. So today we are doing hip mobility for triathletes. So we're going to be working a little bit on these hips and we're going to start lying down. So come and lie down on the ground, back of the head, back of the shoulder blades, and your lower back, your sacrum must be nice and flat on the ground. Keep your hips parallel and neutral, and we're going to start to walk. So just lifting right knee, left knee up. And I want you to feel that lower back and the hips nice and firm on the ground. We're going to end with our right foot down, left foot up, and you're going to windscreen wipe left to right that left foot. So your knee is above your hip and you're just mobilizing that hip joint, bringing that foot left to right. And you don't have to go very fast, just look at how far you can go your left foot out to the left, and then that external rotation of the knee and then the internal rotation of the knee. Obviously you'll have a bigger external rotation. Bring the left foot down, bring the right foot up and do the same thing. Windscreen wipe left to right. We'll be doing this again standing up, but the good thing about doing it with our back on the ground is that we keep our hips neutral and level. So we're giving the feedback to the brain to keep it like this when we stand up. So external, internal rotation here. And in triathlons, we don't move our hips in a big range of motion. We always go frontwards. So getting these hips to move a little bit differently is going to be really good. Come back to center, right foot down on the ground, and then lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Now you're pulling your tailbone towards your heels. You're lengthening that lower back, keeping the core nice and tight. You can have your hands on your hips. Just to get that engagement, we're going to lift our left foot up. You could always scoot the right foot into the middle a little bit. And again, windscreen wiping left to right. We've got more engagement of our right glute here. We want to wake up the right glute because they're the big players to keep us strong and mobilized best in the hips. Then you're going to externally rotate and bring the left heel onto the right knee. Now lift this left hip up. You don't want it sagging down. Lift it up. Let that left knee open, a little bit of opening here for the hip. Still that right glute is nice and firm, waking up here. You might want to just guide. You can always use your hands to see where you're at. 2 big breaths. And then bring the left foot down to the ground. Bring the right foot up, keep the right knee bent, and you're windscreen wiping left to right. Keep that core tight. We're doing this a few times, internal, external rotation. And then coming into external rotation, bringing the right ankle onto the left knee, picking that right hip up, letting that right knee fall open, keeping the core nice and tight, that right hip stays up. 2 big breaths. You can always use those hands for feedback. And then bring the right foot back down. Bring your spine 1 vertebra at a time down to the ground, roll it down, and then you'll pull your knees into your chest and you can rock forwards and backwards, and we're going to come and stand at the front of the mat. Nice and straight here, pelvis, tailbone is pointing down, pubic bone is up, core is tight. Inhale, arms come up, keep those ribs in, exhale, forward fold. Now in your forward fold, I want you to bend your knees and really hinge at the hips so you're pulling your hips back as far as possible. Keep your chin tucked in and then reach your arms forwards and your hips back. Just getting that flexion, you can release your belly button that should be onto your thighs, so you can bend your knees as much as you need to for that to happen. And then reach those arms forwards, just getting that nice length in that lower back. And then release the hands underneath the shoulders. Remember, you can always use blocks, so you can always be a little bit higher here. That will help keep that spine long. Step the left foot back, left knee down. Untuck the toes. You're in your low lunge. 90-90. Don't try and come forward. We want to neutralize this pelvis. Keep it nice and neutral. Keep that long spine. Now, left hand to your lower belly, right hand to your lower back, and squeeze. Putting the back of the throat back. Keep that cervical spine nice and long. And now you're going to open to the left. So keep the left knee down, just rotate open to the left, and your right foot is still facing forward. You can bring your right hand to the inside of that right knee and slowly guide it open. So this might already be quite a lot, or it might feel fine. Just breathe here. You can even keep the left hand onto your left hip, guiding it, just keeping it straight, and then not pushing with the right hand, just guiding it so that it's nice and open. Then bring your hands down to the ground in front of you. You're going to kick your right foot out towards the front of the mat and actually point your toes towards where your nose is facing to the left. So your foot is flat on the ground. This might already be a lot, or you can start pulling your hips back and shifting forwards. Pull back, shift forwards. And this will be really nice for those adductors. Back and forwards, opening that whole inside of that right leg, getting that hip mobilizing a little bit differently. One more, back and forth. Nice. Now slowly come back up. Your foot is flat on the ground here, and you're going to reach your left arm up and then reach over towards the right. Just getting that freedom in that whole left side body, just freeing up that side a little bit, and then inhale, come up, left hand down to the ground, right arm comes up. Now here you really want to squeeze those glutes, push them forward, keep that core tight, flatten that right foot on the ground if you can, reach that right arm overhead, and that whole right side body is stretching out. Come back up, and then you can release the right knee down to the ground, turn back to the front of the mat, hands come down, lift the hips up, come into your downward facing dog. Lift those hips up high, make sure your knees are bent, you're hinging at the hips, lengthening that spine, and then step the feet forward to the front of the mat, and you're going to lift the left knee up as you come up. So lift that left knee up, you're standing on that right leg, like we did before, windscreen wipe, left to right, internal, external rotation. So from the front, this looks like this. Nice. We're doing this a few more times. Super. Last time. And then you'll stay here, right hand on your right hip. You can bring your left hand to your left knee, and then you'll open and close. Open the left knee to the left and close. Open and close. We'll do it one more time. And close, you can bring your left foot down to the ground. Let's do the other side. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Beautiful. Step the right foot back. Right knee down to the ground. Untuck the toes. Come into your low lunge. Right hand onto your belly, left hand on your lower back. This helps you guide that tailbone down, pubic bone up. You should feel a nice opening at the front of the right hip. If you have your right glute turned on and you're pushing your right knee forward and your left foot back, you should feel that opening already. Getting everything nice and aligned. You can release, turn to the right. Again, your left foot is facing forwards. You can bring your left hand to the inside of your left knee, right hand to the front of your hip. Just guide it open. You could stay here. Feel that opening. And then you can come and bring your hands down to the ground. Kick the left foot out to the side. Bring the sole of the left foot down on the ground, toes facing where your head is facing towards the right. And then pull your hips back and forwards. Back and forwards. We're doing this a few more times. Really feeling that inside of the leg, releasing, doing wonders for your hips, back and forth. A few more. And then slowly stopping there, coming back up, reaching your right arm towards the ceiling and then leaning over towards the right. Feel that whole right side body lengthening. Squeeze the glutes, reach up and then over. And then inhale, come up, right hand comes down to the ground. Don't hesitate to bring your right hand to a block. You don't have to come all the way down. Squeeze your glutes, reach your left arm up and then overhead. Release that whole left side body. Make sure that your left shoulder isn't down, lift it up and open. And then come all the way back up. Release the left knee down. Turn to the front of your mat, curl your toes under, lift your hips up. Downward facing dog. Core is tight, lift the hips up high. Keep that core tight. And then step the feet forward to the front of the mat. You're going to lift the right knee up as you come up. Hands on your hips, and then windscreen wipe. Your right knee is bent, and you're doing internal, external rotation. The right foot is going left to right. And just feel that mobilization in the hips. Nice. One more. And then stop here, left hand to your left hip, right hand to your right knee, and then open the right knee to the right and close. Open and close. We've got 2 more. Finding that stability. And release. To end off this quick hip mobility, you're going to open your left foot to the left. You're going to be on the side, facing the side of your mat. Feet are parallel. And then you're going to go into some side lunges. Side lunges, you want to be pulling your hips back. So you could always bring your hands into your hip creases, push back in space, and go left to right. Keep pulling back. You want to keep those shoulder blades pulled together, the spine nice and long, chin is tucked in. And from the side, it will look like this as you pull your hips back in space. Super to get those hips mobilizing. And if you want, you could even bring your hands down to the ground. Left to right. And you can come back up. Good job. I hope you feel a little bit more free in those hips. We'll do some more for the hips, a little bit different next time. But for now, do this as many times as you want, and I hope to see you again next time.